academics, mayors are getting down to work in order to brainstorm on good governance and democracy worldwide on the topic and cities, territory, and sustainable and democratic cities. So, knowing that this is a token of sustainable development, so the findings of this deliberation will be delivered today. But before any further ado, before you are going to extend hospitality to you through the artistic performance done by this company made up of artists, artistic performance from INSAC. And now you are going to have a series of local dance. So this is the Dumale company. This is Tomali Dance Company. Please give them a round of a round. So this was the Kogon mask, and they have taken part in different national and international, let's say, events at Massa. Please give them a round of applause. I would like to make an amendment. The Director of Local Development, Mr. Fidel Yapi, who is the Director of since last Wednesday, the National and Office has covered talking about local development and also citizen participation, the right to life and participatory democracy, to come up with solution in order to spur aid and development right away. Shall we give the floor to an expert for the submission of the summary report of this meeting. This is the chair of the scientific committee, Mr. Professor Valère. Mr. Daon-Paulin, Minister for the Promotion of Sport, representing the government of Côte d'Ivoire. Mr. Jean-Marc Yassé, Mayor of the municipality of Cocody, and Chairperson of Mr. the representative of OIDP, Mrs. the representative of UNDP. All protocol observes. Ladies and gentlemen, this 20th conference, the International Observatory for Participatory Democracy, was held in Abidjan from the 20th to the 22nd day of October. So Cocody being the flagship city of development, the theme was cities, territory, sustainable and democratic environment. So we spoke about local development, environment and citizen partnership, right to life, and democratic. Each subtopic was featured by 2 panel sessions, which included 40 elected officials, economic operators, and practitioners. 4 conference and maiden conference were set, and the set of contribution came from Africa, Europe, and America. There is a need at this junction to thank to all those who contribute to the success of this evening, thanking the Honorable Mayor of Cocody. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the trust placed in this scientific committee. We would like to thank Mr. Bachet, Mr. Adria Duarte, with whom we have been engaging regularly on the content of these various axes for these topical issues. Thank you. We would like to thank Mr. Charles Sely. Thank you for this practice. We would like also to thank the ICT department of the Mayor Office for their professionalism and availability. Thank you for your precious inputs. Now let's get back to the subject matter. We are going to share with you the findings pertaining to the axis of local development. It helped the floor to identify the difficulties to mobilize resources, and the impact of COVID-19 also worsened the challenges. And the outbreak of this health crisis show the frailty of our health systems, and which is the bedrock of economics. The conference encouraged people also to identify the potentialities to be able to come up with homogeneous development forms. The axis pertaining to environment and citizen partnership based on the observation made at the Rio conference in 1992. The second conference identified the pressure sustained by the environment. Holistic thinking globally and acting locally is the key to address the issue. So on this topic, show the interest of the question in a deep demographic and democratic environment. This has to be mainstream in the regulation system, and the persistency of garbage collection is the need for overall discussion in a contextualized and legislative environment. The issues is to identify the local and cultural peculiarities as part of decision making. Therefore, there is a need to embrace participatory approach with the various economic context of different settings. So the increase in the number of exclusion has also led to the paradigm of inclusive towns and cities, which is now a concern. The right to life is a concern. The thriving and issues have to do also with urbanization. Every forum is addressing this question recurrently. The conference made it possible to highlight that COVID-19 and impact as a result of lockdown and quarantine issues, which came to heighten exclusion in the south-based towns and cities in terms of social coverage, educational coverage, and also educational facilities. Therefore, the conference encouraged cities and towns to reduce involvement of social exclusiveness and marginalization, invest into social activities, and this is the main conclusion. The axis concerning governance and participatory democracy, the importance of participation has been underlined. The participatory budget has been identified as the, let's say, widespread expression in the territory to, let's say, associate population in the participation of population should be systematic, sought in terms of involvement. In other words, women, for instance, when it comes to their insertion in business entities and to achieve an empowerment, self-empowerment. The female leadership is to be explored and to be promoted. In view of the importance of women in production units, so the elected officials are encouraged to support female groups. It has been supported to encourage the involvement of women from a social and economic point of view. Before concluding, we would like to reiterate our thanks to all the speakers and the panel members. As a researcher, I assert that I've been quite, let's say, enriched by your insightful contribution. And Mr. Jemer Koulibaly, Dr. Yati, and Ishkaban, who from before Abidjan was maintaining constant contact with us to share experience, and his humility humble us, without forgetting our friends of the scientific and also the dynamics of interpreters and translators who have been supportive. In concluding, the conference urged the elected official to promote participatory democracy through the search based on the territories and towns, and to make situational analysis and territorial analysis, and women empowerment and mobilization of resources. Cocody 2021 is of the opinion that the hosting of questions on this issue through research is a credible possibility to create database to promote decision making for the involvement in the public, the common thing. In this regard, cooperation with universities and research centers is to be promoted. And the contribution of Mayo and the another mayor from also Cameroon is quite participatory, has been highlighted and legitimated in a context where the importance of this is more and more highlighted. And for local government, and also to know we have an expertise as a university researcher, and we can support towns and cities, especially in Cote d'Ivoire. And whatever in Cote d'Ivoire, as they could do in industrialized countries, could do it. So the compiling of data is part of this success story. Our contribution at the closing of this deliberation is the proposal of methodological working methods in line with participatory democracy. Participation, governance are at the heart of what we call the geo system, and based on people. As part of this synergy, the population will feel involved, and data creation will help us to take into account their concern. At this junction, once more, we would like to reiterate our thanks to all the speakers and the panel members. Thank you for your gentle attention. Thank you, Professor Valerie Luba. You are the chairperson of the scientific committee, and you just shared with us the summary report of this 20th conference. Thank you once more. After Matola in Mozambique and in 2016 in Abidjan, Abidjan is the second sitting hosting the IDP, and the continent is well represented with delegation all the way from Mauritania, DRC, Senegal, Cameroon, Morocco. And without any further ado, we are going to listen to the report of Mr. Bachir Kanouté.
Merci.
Thank you. An Honorable Minister, Honorable Mayor Mark Yassé, dear Chairperson, and Honorable Mayor, dear participant, this morning we have to take the floor. I confess that as part of our organization, when the president is in attendance, when we were expecting his word, but since they emphasized, okay, well, I'm going to take the floor. I did not prepare something specially, but I'm going to allow my heart to speak. When in 2019 in Mexico, we had entrusted the conference to Cocody. I was saying on this occasion that Africa is associated with this conference, which has been entrusted to Cocody. I have to say, at the end of these 3 days of deliberation, dear Mayor, we would like to thank you for this perfect organization, regardless a very challenging context, which did not make easier the travel of those all from Northern America. I would like to express my thanks, Aniche Mo. I hope I did mispronounce these words. And I would like to highlight this one thing. This second conference hosted in Africa has taken up all challenges, the participatory challenge and scientific content and mobilization wise with the authorities, and you are blessed. And I can say that at the end, everything went smoothly. Thank God. In concluding, Honorable Mayor, I would like also to thank the City Council for their warm welcome. And I would like to thank all those who work in the background, the backdoor boys, we call them. And we are in the light, but those who are what we term as the backdoor boys are also to be thanked. And thank you to the scientific committee for what has been done. Let's say in one word, I would like to say a big thank you to you, and I hope I will be seeing you under any other circumstances. And thank you, Mr. Bashir Kanute. You are the Africa coordinator for OIDP. Thank you for your intervention, sir. Now we are going to wrap up this, and the city of Grenoble is going now to be at the head of this conference. So therefore, it is time. Mr. Diego Fernandez is going to deliver his speech.
It was just great. Honorable Minister, mayors and chairperson of IOPD, Madam, Mr. Mayors, Mrs. Emilia Size, which is not with us, Secretary General of UCGL Ward, and Mr. Jean-Pierre Lambassi, which is the chairperson of UCGL of Africa, Clara Abrigada, which is mayor of Abrigada and co-chair of IOPD, Jean-Marc, Secretary General of IOPD. I'm taking up the floor on behalf of the mayor of Grenoble, first of all, because the mayor and his entire delegation wants to commend you for the warmful welcome. Thank you for the courage, the boldness, and the perseverance that you showed in the organization of this great meeting, regardless of all the challenges that we are all confronted with. The fact to meet here is a sign of success for this conference. We came, we attended, and we are very happy to share with you our experiences. I warmly commend all the panelists, participants, and moderators for sharing renewed outlooks with regard to the challenges of democracy. We are going home with a huge baggage of knowledge. Today, the necessity is also to look forward the future and build new citizens in new project. We have to act and accelerate, boost transformation to make our cities more inclusive, fair, more democratic. The cities and local territories must be the first line to make things change towards democratic, ecological, and social vision. They are at the heart of change, and they are representing the first chain of our republics, the first link of our democracy, that is proximity. Things must change at the legislative level in our countries to break the stereotype which are rigid in the area of democratic experimentation. Conferences like these ones are opportunities to make this request collectively. Together, we are feeding our experiences, sharing our satisfactions and challenges. So let's all capitalize on these opportunities together to make our practices and public policies move forward. The conference do not stop here. It is ongoing, so I'm going to meet you in some weeks on 29th November, organized by IOPD World with the city of Cocody, but also for National Assembly on 2nd December, and of course next year in Grenoble for the next international conference of IOPD. We should not lose guard, and I know that you are trying to make things change. This is how we will be able to move forward in associating the citizen more to have the same vision and enrich our analysis and find local relevant perspective. This initiative that we see expressed here and there allows us to make the citizens not only consumers of public services, but also contributors and stakeholders of that public service. It is allow us to have this network and create a space for citizen initiative. It is a bet and trust game from the citizen and the decision makers. That is how we build a strong democracy. It's our conviction, and I know you share it. That is the approach to go by to give a new breath to democracy and build a more human and united territory. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Diego Fernandez Barras. We're going to ask you to stay at the restaurant so that we call on Mr. Jean-Marc Yassé, chairperson of IOPD. He is joining you right now in order to hand over a first dossier, which is a folder including the synthesis of this conference to ensure the handover and the succession. A folder following which he is going to hand over a token, a souvenir from this international conference held in Abidjan, Cocody. Ladies and gentlemen, this does not mean that I'm no longer a chair. I will be chairing this organization observatory until the end of my term, but our minister is here and the minister of Congo is here. I'm going to officially hand over this to Mr. Diego so that he hands it over to the mayor of Grenoble. Hand over with this token to the town hall of Grenoble. Honorable Mayor, we're going to ask you the official photo of this handover for history. Please do not go away. Stay at the restaurant. Dynamic Mayor of Cocody, Mr. Jean-Marc Yassé. Honorable Minister of Promotion of Sports and Economic and Sport Development and Chair of UVCOSI, the Association of Cities and Communes of Côte d'Ivoire, Mr. Daupolin, Honorable Mr. Mokeli from the Republic of Congo Kinshasa, Minister of Tourism and Decentralization, dear representative of the chairperson of IOPD, Mr. Bashi, representing IOPD in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, mayors and dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, municipal advisors and the prefect, Mr. Gervais Koulibaly, ladies and gentlemen, economic councillors, municipal councillors and traditional leaders and religious leaders, dear friends of the media. I know we have a big number of our retired agents that I would like to commend warmly. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like, in the framework of this closing ceremony of the 20th conference of IOPD, translate my deep acknowledgement on behalf of the commune of Cocody and on my own behalf for your participation, very active participation during the current deliberations. During 2 days, we have with a lot of activeness exchange on the ways to implement in order to make our territories and cities a space for promotion of participatory democracy. Even though the way to go is still full of obstacles, institutional and operational ones, even though the pockets of vulnerabilities are multi-shapes and sometimes seems to be without solution, I take home one big thing from our exchanges. We still have some rationales for hope. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I would like to grab this opportunity, this platform, to commend the President of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, His Excellency Alassane Ouattara, and his Prime Minister, and the entire government here represented by the Honorable Minister of Sports and Chair of UVCOC for the interest taken in this 20th conference of IOPD here in Cocody in Côte d'Ivoire. I would like also to say big thank to our sector minister, the General Jumande Vagondo, Minister of Interior and Security, and also to the DGGL, Mr. Yapi, for their support and undisrupted assistance in the organization of this 20th conference. Sir, you may forward my acknowledgement to the sector minister. I'm not skipping Mr. Bashi Kanute, a huge resource person with whom I've been exchanging and engaging. He was very supportive to this conference. I also commend my senior, the Minister of Sport and Development of Sports, and also chairperson of UVCOC, for his constant or undisrupted support in the success of this conference, and also for his physical attendance. Honorable Minister, thank you for welcoming us here. Please receive our acknowledgement from the commune of Cocody, and also on my own behalf to all the participants who have made the movement to attend, on my own behalf and the entire council of Cocody and the population of Cocody, to the Director General of WHO, also to the representative of UNDP, who has been a big support to this conference. Dear Director of WHO, international institution, which have been very supportive in, as you saw, sharing a statement with us. Thank you, dear Director of WHO. Now that Cocody is about to hand over to the city of Grenoble, I would like to say that it is with happiness and pride that we chaired the International Observatory for Participatory Democracy. This chairmanship has been personal and collective for training and exchange. To that regard, I would like to commend all the cities and partners, to all the institutions partners, to any person who has been attending online this conference. Thank you to all the mayors and all the people who made the movement from Africa, Congo, Senegal, Morocco, Mauritania, Cameroon, and so on and so forth, not skipping Mexico, Spain, Grenoble, France. We would have loved to have you with us, but unfortunately, due to the COVID-19, many could not make the movement. May God bless this 20th conference. May He bless your various countries. May He bless Cocody, the commune of excellence, the commune of well-being, the first commune of Côte d'Ivoire. We may compete with other cities in Africa and the world. Long live to cooperation. Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you, Honorable Dynamic and Vibrant Mayor of the municipality of Cocody, who is always attuned with the local population. Thank you for this statement. We know that you have lacked the performance of this ceremony with Dumale. So this demonstration of Ivorian dances, so we are going to invite them again, and this is going to be a demonstration of a Zauli dance from Goitafla, a central-based city of Côte d'Ivoire. Thank you very much. And Zauli is the mask and the traditional dance that you just witnessed from the Guru people. And we paid homage to female beauty. The Zauli mask is a symbol which inspire the logo of this conference, as you can see, close to our cultures. Côte d'Ivoire is pleased for the past few years to host international and global events, which is its comeback in the community of nations. And this conference comes to buttress national satisfaction. And the representative of the government will not say the opposite. So shall we welcome at this rostrum by the Honorable Minister of Sports and Sports Economics, representing the government of Côte d'Ivoire, and is the chairperson of UNIVICOSI, which is the union of the Ivorian towns and cities. Mr. Marcel Mokili, Minister of Tourism and Decentralization from DRC, you are mostly welcome to Côte d'Ivoire. Sangonini, Bote. Thank you. Mr. Jean-Pierre Elombassi, SG of CG Loua, Mr. Fidel Yapi, Managing Director of Central Development, Mr. Jean-Marie Hassé, Mayor of Cocody, outgoing Chairperson of OIDP, dear brother and Vice Chairperson of the Union of Cities and Towns of Côte d'Ivoire, honorable invited guests, all protocol observed. Honorable traditional rulers and religious leaders, ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, this morning I came with the message of the Senior General Jomande Vagondo, who is the Minister of Homeland Security. He asked me to convey to this August Assembly at the end of the 20th conference of OIDP, which was themed Towns and Cities, Territories that are Sustainable and Participatory Democracy. He would like to convey his heartfelt thanks to the Honorable Mayor of Cocody and, let's say, current President of OIDP for having, let's say, been able to host this conference in a challenging context featured by COVID-19. And he would like also to add the Mayor of Grenoble, the future and chairperson of OIDP, who has traveled personally to Côte d'Ivoire to take part in this session. He would like to thank and congratulate the apex bodies of local collectivities in ARTCI and UNIVICOSI, and also thank and hail the participation of local elected officials and all the traveling delegations who came to, let's say, make this happen, and also provided luster to this event. I would like to thank and congratulate experts who have agreed to share their knowledge and their contributions for the progress of participatory democracy, which is a token of sustainable development. He would like In concluding, he would like to address the media people, which not only in the form of media coverage as, let's say, magnify this event, but also by the dissemination of resolutions from the deliberations. Honorable invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, these 3 working days have delivered and enabled the experts to discuss and come up with solutions on the 4 strategic axes, that is local development, the environment, and citizen partnership, rights to cities and governance, and participatory and governance. In light of these axes, they have been discussing about many topics: the impact of COVID, governance, and participatory and female leadership, the management of also wastes and rubbishes in town. And thanks to these fruitful discussions, the objective of this conference have been fully covered. Participatory should not be a slogan, a political slogan. That is why, at this junction, on behalf of His Excellency Mr. Alassane Ouattara, President of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, on behalf of the Prime Minister, Mr. Prachi Akshi, Head of Government, urge all the stakeholders to make the most of the recommendations of the panelists, and especially take ownership of the resolution contained in the Abidjan Declaration. The Minister of Interior and General of Army and Jomande is asking me to tell you, as the Supervisory Ministry of Territorial Community, making the personal commitment to support initiatives aiming at enhancing and promoting the involvement of local population when it comes to selecting local development projects. On this great hopeful note, I declare on his behalf, I declare the end and the closure of this 20th OIDP conference. Thank you, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Sport Promotions and Sports Economics, representing the government of Côte d'Ivoire, and chairperson of UNIVI-COSI. And thank you very much to you all for your undivided participation, and this is an announcement. But the day is still on. This afternoon there's going to be a visit of the municipality of Cocody, and there's going to be a session of tree planting, and tonight there will be a gala dinner. Thank you for having attended this 3-day deliberation and this ceremony. Now we would like to convey a message, because you will have to travel back home, and now I am addressing our guest from abroad. Tomorrow you are going to undergo the let's say PCR test, and please make arrangement, the photocopy of your passport, and the place of birth, profession, and country of final destination, and flight number, and your address. So this is the PCR test. So this is the last intervention of the medical team. So you are please invited to honor this appointment. So see you this afternoon for the gala, dear invitee. This is the end of this ceremony. Thank you very much, and see you next year in the south east part of France. We are going to call the officials so to take they're going to take a group photograph. First of all, the panelists, and then the mayors. Please, we are going to invite the panelists in the first place, then mayor panelists, the panelists and the mayors. Please come over before the elected officials to join you.
Et pour les tests PCR, c'est maintenant, pour tous les concernés,
all those concerned, please inquire about San Pedro room. Hoping that this 20th OIDP conference would have delivered all its goals. See you at the forthcoming edition in Grenoble in the southeastern part of France. Okay, that was the closing ceremony of OIDP. Thank you for your undivided participation. Safe journey back home.